slightly later this morning. It's a particular pleasure to be able to introduce Mr. And he's here to I believe you
section, and I'm very much honored to take this opportunity to host this wonderful event of the SEADOM, and I'd like to thank the president of SEADOM, Professor Mr. Bernard Linsky, and the CEO of the SEADOM, Professor. I'd like to give you a bit of a picture of IFBC. I was very lucky to global citizens, I would say, and we started to educate the students. You see, now people of Myanmar, for example, the government does not listen to us. Something that we've been doing here. Like we are manufacturing the people who live. We let the students listen. So we are not just training or educating the young children of Myanmar, qualified, highly educated people for Myanmar life, and I don't know how much, so much students also stay with beautiful event, and I think that if there are weaknesses and then inconveniences, then I hope that you would understand this and use our January. But the weather outside is getting warmer and warmer than the air conditioning. Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for attention.
For everyone, we're all teachers, so we can all relate to each other through teaching and learning. As good teachers, I'm sure you know that teaching is also learning, so I hope that we have the opportunity to share some ideas this morning. I would like to say that I would like to get your help in creating a little bit more of a online presence for our theme. If you have any activities that are happening in your country, trying to promote our theme a little bit more for every year. This morning, what we're going to do is we're going to have two presentations. One is by Citra, the other one is by me. And after that, I will ask some of you to come up and create a panel, and we'll just throw out some questions. And feel free to really participate in the panel. I think it could be really a panel of all of us, if I can use that kind of term. We need ideas for learning and teaching, and I think the more ideas we have from all of you, the better. So I would like to just ask Citra to come up and make her presentation, and we'll start with that.
Yeah, I have this opportunity, and today I will talk and I will share about the music education scene in Indonesia. Actually, this is I just finished my articles and I will read it. I'm so sorry because I'm afraid there's something missed after that. Okay, I will read. The name of my article is Mozart Effect LU, Industrial Promotion and Lifestyle. The presence of Western music in Indonesia cannot be separated from the colonialism narrative, which is embodied in the appearance of this nation. Recorded about 300 years, coexist with colonial, becoming determinant in the form of music which emerged in Indonesia. Western music was introduced by the Europeans, such as this is where Supratman, the violence, and he made a and continued to expand to the world whole, including Indonesia today, as the condition or effect as a result of exposure to certain music website and sell a lot CDs Mozart Effect. Russia had not claimed that Mozart the expert interest to begin researching the music and its impact on human life. Not only the experts, the general public began to be interested, but unfortunately, a lot of information that reaches the public is strong enough. The Mozart effect, with all its news in the media, produces myths in music education. The word myth is often used to refer various beliefs and opinions, which can be proof and falsehood. And memorable myths that develop precisely the opposite. Music education began to emerge and responded well by the market. The presence of the myth of the Mozart effect early as possible to increase the intelligence become a lure and genial in music education industry. The entire things. And this music fantasy is for 1 or 2 years old business of music education. Advertisement like to a stalkers who the advertisement not uncommon believe the benefits and efficacy. This is
board exams in Thailand, including ABRSM, Trinity College, London, and of course Yamaha. The initial steps towards creating time, the Thailand International Music Examination, were taken by Dr. Sagri. The goals that he had in mind were to make the taking of the exam more. Normally, 10,000 baht would be a low salary for a common Thai professional worker. So it is quite costly. It's restricted to, the exams are restricted to people who have quite a bit of money. Trinity sends examiners to Thailand. They are pianists, violinists, or people who are trained, very well trained in the general concept of music, but perhaps not teachers, younger teachers across the board, of what time could do for the classical guitar community in Thailand. I mean, what are the challenges in teaching? So it was a kind of exploratory period. This was also a period where myself, I don't come from this the integrated music exam background, so it was a time for me to be introduced to this culture. It was a very interesting and fascinating experience. About the equivalent of the grade 8 in Trinity Guildhall speaking. Another element. I'm sorry, I didn't make that clear. The time already functions.
We don't hear you. If you would like to use these
instruments as well. So yes, this is part of a larger project.
Or we can go to see if we can make it something larger.
And into other countries.
Which would maybe now would be time to try to, and for them first to start develop that within their countries. Yeah. And the part of the curriculum that you have that is playing Thai folk melodies, and Indonesia will be playing Indonesian folk melodies, and adding one joint Southeastern Asia curriculum, which would maybe encompass internationally, cross-border.
Well, one of the seeds is to create at least does well regionally, not...
Because we do respect, I personally, I cannot digest IBR, RSM, or what is that, intercontinental?
Perfect exam or syllabus, but our goal was to create something from the country, of the country, that has
Yeah, what would be relevant for the country and then later on for the region.
Yeah. So, well, that's probably...
Is obviously absolutely critical. Yamaha's had an incredibly intense impact on the region and on music, but it largely gets, in one sense, unacknowledged and in another sense, unquestioned. And both of these dimensions obviously can have impact. I mean, there's no question that Yamaha has had a much greater impact on Southeast Asian music than SEADOM has so far. And I think that's one of the questions we need to face. I mean, if we want to seed the musical ground, we need to see which other seeds are being seeded and whether those are the seeds we want to promote. And the second one, of course, is the impact and influence of the exam system. And that is really the answer to seeding, to introduce ever more exam systems, that we're that confident that exam systems are the best way to plant seeds in the community. And I think I'm saying this partly of change need to be giving some serious consideration. And I don't have... Most of the countries in Southeast Asia are giving millions of dollars a year to Europe, or particularly in the United Kingdom, through the exam system. So we could certainly be looking much more provocatively at this question.
I agree that this is for me because I was educated by my father, so I had no access to this until about 2 years ago. So it was really an eye-opening, it was a learning experience for me. I'll just, one of the things is you, the farmer, and
student outcome, but to make sure that there was something that was standardised that teachers could look at. Now, in the passing of time, there are no more teacher development programs. It's all about the young kids getting in there. And I have to say, because it's an industry, it's about making money from the sale of the books and the paying of the examiners, and it's a whole sort of industry that surrounds it. And I think this is the time to start thinking about what is the point of these sorts of formal exams. Yours is kind of new, so let this be a thought process to take back home. The whole point of music is to make people feel really good about themselves and their culture, and to be able to, is that it's an individual activity. We're focusing on the education of an individual child without having that child with these ensembles. And this is actually my personal challenge for the future, is to try and shift what I think is a behemoth into...
involved here, because I don't think we're going to have time for the panel discussion. It's almost 10:20. So maybe this is the panel discussion, and whoever would like to...
Western colonization of music in Asia. And I knew of how much money was pouring back to the board, and with the Chinese mentality of exam taking, more confusion mentality.
Can you make it louder?
And so now with the increased number of exams offered in Singapore a year, 2 exams a year, as opposed to 1 exam when I was growing up, there's more money to be made from these exams. And but the good thing is that students now they learn up to 6 pieces for each grade if they take 2 exams a year, so that's more enhanced repertoire for them. But I also recognize that much as the intentions behind the development of the ABRSM and maybe the Australian Music Examination Board come from good intentions, but the teachers do not always, they teach to the exams rather than teach to a more holistic, broad view idea or philosophy behind taking of exams. And unfortunately, this is what's been happening, and I think since the exam board was introduced in Singapore about maybe 70 years ago, 1940s, the purpose of the exam board is different when the British introduced this in this part of the world. I mean, it was more to help the British locals that were in this part of the world to, when they returned back to England, to articulate back to the exam system or their exam music courses like the Associated Boards. But unfortunately, it became such a profitable organization unfortunately for us, maybe fortunately for them, it became such a profitable organization and just grew. And maybe it was not the baby they intended to grow, but they didn't, I don't think they had the locals' interest at heart. I think it was just very profitable, and then there was much money to be made from publications, from selling of records, and from status and so forth. So when I did the study in 2004, it's dated now, I recognized that the ADRSM has changed the syllabus and improved the syllabus, because when I was growing up it was very different. The theory and the oral kind of training was very divorced from the practical aspect of it, and the way in which our teacher taught us was very different, very separate. You know, they just artificially pluck out a series of notes and expect the students to sing back, so it was not very conducive to learning music in a more holistic way. And very often the students, or when I was growing up, we were not taught how to recognize meter. You know, that meter timekeeping was one of the elements of the oral training. So we just didn't know, we would just guess. You know, but you had about maybe a 20% or 30% chance of getting it right. So there's 2, 4, 3, 4, or 4, 4, maybe it's 60. You get 25% chance of getting it right. Most of them you got it wrong anyway. And we didn't understand the concept of theory and how it underpinned the repertoire that you're supposed to learn. Right? So we just plonk in notes without recognizing, and just maybe, you know, find a pattern that looks nice, you know. But we didn't really understand it. But I think that also is because we were not taught, or the system of training of teachers that passed it down to students was not holistic enough. So it's not so much just the exam system, but it was also the teaching of teachers to teach these to the students. So unfortunately, about 2 or 3 generations of children, including myself, suffered through this process of exam taking. And I think primarily it was the Chinese, you know, parents and families who were very keen on taking exams for status, for qualifications, to prove to your neighbors or your colleagues that your child has had a diploma, popular and more higher ranked in the eyes, still not as prestigious as the ADRSM. It came to Singapore, I think maybe in the late 90s, 90s, huh? Yeah, and it was not quite successful. But I thought the philosophy underpinned the exam, the system was very good. The repertoire was much more challenging, more holistic.
Enough. And just one remarks on the locals and kind of like international. One thing that I found about the Yamaha curriculum is that actually the original Japanese one is very interesting. It's